Our quote of the day: deal with yourself as an individual worthy of respect and make everyone else deal with you the same way. This quote comes to us from the illustrious Nikki Giovanni. And I'm going to say that one more time for the folks in the back to make sure this lands with you. Deal with yourself as an individual worthy of respect and make everyone else deal with you the same way. All right, team. When you hear this quote, what comes up for you?
Okay, so I don't have a perfectly fleshed out answer for this, but as I think about it within the context of our conversation, what comes up for me is I probably should let you go first, Dom, because okay, what comes up for me is the fact that I feel like it's layered. This is what I feel like it's layered, and I think
Mm-hmm.
that when you are dealing with yourself or handling yourself with or as an individual worthy of respect, it can mean that you are showing up in a way that is, I want to say, like, I don't know, in a dignified fashion. It can mean that you are also treating other people in a certain way. So I feel like it's like when I hear it, I think it's multi-layer. And I feel like if you really sit with it, it really can be a great starting point for the conversation that we're going to have today. I feel like you have something that's way more fleshed out because I'm still like processing how it connects. But what comes up for you when you hear that quote?
Yeah. And so I think just to give folks a quick background, as we were prepping for this episode and we were trying to identify what would feel like appropriate quotes for the day, like we pulled this one up and I was like, I read it, and T was like, okay, we're getting there. And then I was like starting to look again. And then it had sat with me a little more, and I was like, oh no, we have to use this one. Like I'm gonna gently push back and say we got it, and say let's go with this one. And as it sat with me, what I and in thinking about our conversation for today, the thing that came up for me was when you treat yourself, when you within your own personal relationship with yourself, treat yourself with respect, then that carries out to how you engage with other people. And then that makes everyone else treat you with respect too, right? It goes back to the quote of like, teach people how to treat you.
Hmm.
That when you carry yourself in a way that naturally demands respect, it's noticeable, right?
Yeah.
And it makes me think about our conversation that there will be times in our lives where people mistreat us, right? And oftentimes that is about how we are carrying ourselves. I want to be clear that this is not a moment of like victim blaming, because I don't want people to
Yeah.
come for me on that, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that there are times like how we show up can activate other people in good and bad ways. It's about them, but it's still in reaction to you. So I'm not asking us to change ourselves unless there are things that are worthy of being changed, that aren't generating the respect that we deserve.
Mm. Oh, that's good. You made me think of a new episode that we could dive into around that topic. But that's good. I appreciate your breakdown of the quote, Dom. And lady, as you listen to this conversation, right, depending on when you're listening, there's a lot happening online right now and in the world, right? There's always a lot happening. But specifically, what's happening right now has got us thinking about reputation, character, integrity, and who people are behind the scenes. Now, we do want to say this episode is not about gossip or drama or tearing anybody down, but we do think it's an important conversation to have because we're living in a time where image moves fast, right? Branding moves fast. AI moves faster, right? And sometimes it can be really hard to tell the difference between visibility and trustworthiness. And so we want to have this conversation today.
Yeah, and what it did was this has made us reflect on our own lives too, right? Like on those moments where people showed us who they really were behind closed
Hmm.
doors,
Yeah.
right? And also on the kind of reputation and character we want to build for ourselves. Because truly, at the end of the day, while your reputation may introduce you, your character is what people actually experience. Your character is what keeps you in the room. Your character is the thing that will get you to be brought back into the room.
Hmm.
Your character is what your reputation may be built upon. And so today we're going to focus on why reputation matters more than ever.
Let's do it. Now, as we have this conversation, if you are in a space where you have your journal or you have a notebook out and you want to think of some reflect or answer some reflective questions, we just want to give you a couple questions to think about before we jump into the conversation. So the first question is, how do you know who to trust in a world built on curated images? Listen. That's a good one right there because it's getting wild these days with the AI influencers. And of course, we know that most people
Listen,
post a highlight reel only. So that's all you have to go off of. The next question is, have we become too quick to put people on pedestals? Yes.
the answer is yes.
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 Some
Yes.
people definitely have. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What happens when someone's image and character don't align?
Ooh,
Okay. And then finally, what does it actually mean to have integrity today? What does that look like in action?
yeah.
So Dom, let's get into this pedestal conversation because this is real. So
Yeah.
real. You
Yeah, it
see it
is.
all the time with relationships, especially like, oh, black love or relationship goals or whatever it might be. But just in general, why do you think people put people on pedestals?
So I think there's a couple of ways in which we put people on pedestals
Mm-hmm.
that like there's a couple of examples that like are glaring and are problematic.
Yeah.
So the first one that we're most familiar with are what we would call parasocial relationships. And these are the relationships that we often have with like celebrities, right? And so a parasocial relationship is one-sided where one person is extending like emotional energy, interest, time,
Yes.
and the other person has no idea that party number
Still
one
exists.
even exists, right? And this is often how it is with celebrities that you have your list of people, celebrities that you're following on social media, that if they're a singer, you attend all their concerts, you're their
Mm,
biggest fan. If they're an actor or actress, you watch all their shows and movies, everything that they're ever in. And you seem to know, you read every interview, watch every interview, you seem to know so much about them. And you feel so connected to them, and that they are just above, they are superhuman, that they are just above quote unquote normal everyday people, right?
mm-hmm.
And so because they're put on a pedestal, it's everything that they do is perfect. They can do no wrong. And we should all be living to emulate them. If they endorse a product, now we have to go and have that product, right? Because then it makes us feel closer to them, more connected with them. If they launch a product line, we go and buy the whole product line, no matter how much it actually costs, no matter whether or not it actually is something that we need and can use. because now it makes us feel like we're closer to that particular person, right? So there's that, right? The parasocial relationship where we're putting celebrities on this pedestal.
Hmm.
But then there's also what I have seen in intimate romantic relationships
Ooh,
where people put their partners on the pedestal.
okay.
Now, this is going to be a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, but there's this thing as the Madonna complex, right? That like,
Hmm.
particularly in Catholic religious cultures, other religious cultures, and I'm not, and let me be clear, I'm not saying that everyone who identifies as Catholic subscribes to this, or everyone who
Hmm.
identifies as religious subscribes to this, but it happens more often in the religious context of women being placed on this pedestal
Hmm.
of saintly, and they are not allowed to, that they don't behave in any way that would, any way other than a saint would.
Question for you. What does
Yes.
that do? How does that serve the person that is putting the person or
On
setting
the,
this high expectation for them?
so if they can, if this is their partner,
Hmm.
then it says something about them
That makes sense.
that they have this partner, that their partner, the person they chose, is
Yeah.
this saint, is this perfect woman.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Hmm.
And that's why I say it's a whole nother episode to
Interesting.
dive into because of the pressure that it
Yes.
puts on the woman, right?
Okay.
And what actually really goes down in those types of dynamics. Whole nother
Yeah.
episode. But that's, so those are the two examples of putting people on a pedestal.
That that makes sense. And I'm also thinking about, as you were talking about parasocial relationships, I had some reactions in my body. Cause I'm like, I know that to an extent it can be, it's normal, right? Like we have
Yeah.
listeners that, we have our conversation, lady, as you're listening, we may not know you by name. We with you in spirit though. Like we there in spirit, but we may not know you by name and everything, but I'm thinking about my attachment, like over the years, being a Beyonce fan, right? Or like
Mm-hmm.
since I was a teenager, like in Chris Brown. God, I had dreams about Chris Brown. I woke up like, oh damn, I thought we were together. Like that makes me feel a little silly. I'm not gonna lie, but I see what you're saying, and I understand how that can happen. And I think another aspect of this is like people are really craving certainty and guidance,
Yeah.
inspiration, hope,
Yeah.
especially in these chaotic times. And so I can see why they would want to put someone up there. But I think it can be so dangerous for us because visibility and trustworthiness, they don't come hand in hand, right? Just because you're
Right.
someone's visible, it doesn't go hand in hand. And we have a couple just key lessons that we want us to just kind of think about, ladies, as we have this conversation, right? Like familiarity is not trust, right? So just because you see someone every day online and subconsciously feel connected to them, you don't know them people for real.
Sure don't.
Right? Like even us, yes, an aspect of us, but there are certain things sometimes, like even before we got on the got on the mic, Dom and I were having a personal conversation about something, and we were like, oh yeah, we're not gonna be able to talk about that on the show. We're gonna have to wait for that. Like, you know how it is. Like
Right.
you have aspects of yourself that you don't show to the world. And so it's important for us to
Mm-hmm.
be mindful of that. And I have to remind myself of that too, Dom, because if I'm vibing with somebody, I'm like, oh, we have so much in common. Oh my God, I see you post every day. I feel like I know you. I know this aspect of you. I know the
Right.
part of you that you want me to know that you're showing me, right? And
Right.
sometimes, yeah, sharing a morning routine or relationship advice or vulnerable stories, it can create that emotional connection. But it's important for us to remember and remind ourselves, like, I appreciate this about this person, but it doesn't mean that I can necessarily trust them, right?
Exactly. Exactly. It doesn't make them doesn't necessarily make them an expert or a
Mm-hmm.
trustworthy source on what they're sharing.
Yes. And talking about an expert, confidence and charisma is often mistaken for credibility, and that is not the case.
Yes.
Like, it is so important. Like, you can watch a compelling speaker or someone who can speak well, or they know big words and they get you excited. And it's okay to be a fan of a statement or a perspective, but I don't know. I think we should also be just looking at someone's character. Who are they consistently? How do they how do they treat other people? That's something I'm always
Mm-hmm.
into. Like, how does this person treat
Mm-hmm.
other people, right? Like, what is my body naturally saying when I see this person? There are certain people I've watched interviews, and again, we don't know everyone or every aspect of someone, but I've watched an interview and I'm like, huh, something that they just said, it just didn't sit well with me. So just kind of being mindful of that and listening to our bodies and not just going all in and believing everything that someone says, like you said, buying all the products, drinking the Kool-Aid because they are charismatic and they have confidence
Right.
because it doesn't equate to credibility.
Right. It doesn't. And, I also want to state that supporting someone also doesn't mean that you fully endorse
Mm-hmm.
everything that they're doing. And so, because
Mm-hmm.
I want us to, keep in mind that there's nuance,
Yeah.
that there can be a celebrity that I like,
Mm-hmm.
and they're putting out a product. And yeah, it might not have anything to do with me,
Yeah.
but especially if it's another Black woman,
Yes.
I might buy the products to support what they are, what that product means, right? And maybe I end up gifting it to someone who actually could benefit from the product.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's really about knowing how to trust your source, having some discernment around that. And we have a whole part two, so stay tuned after this episode where we talk about how to determine what's a trustworthy, credible source in your life, whether it's the celebrity that you're following on social media or the person in the mom group who you are trying to befriend.
Okay, so I want to know if there's anything else you want to talk about for this particular segment, Don, because I wanted to ask you if you have a situation in life where you put someone on a pedestal and you were like, they let you down and you had to sit with that. Because I thought of a situation. I think I talked about it before, but let me know, do you have one or anything else you want to add to this?
Not that I can think of, because I can think of situations. I think I'm at a stage where there are very few people that like I like geek out on or like would get
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, like feel like this person is not like the rest of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and the experiences that are coming to mind for me have all been positive.
Oh, good. Okay.
So yeah, so I can't think of one where it was like I felt let down.
Yeah.
So I'm curious which story
Girl.
you're about to share.
Okay, so I was a teenager, okay? And
Mhm.
I was raised very religious, and purity culture was a big thing, right? When I
Yeah.
was growing up at this time. And so I wasn't aware of this, but there were lots of people who there was a lot of pressure to like stay a virgin until you were married, right? And that was a conversation that
Hmm.
we were having frequently. And there were these two girls in particular that I really looked up to. They were older than me. They were really cool. And I was like, oh, I like them. Like, they're really cool. And they were just like saving their virginity until they were married. And I was like, this is so dope. Like, it inspired me. I was looking for some hope, right? Or
Hmm.
projecting this sort of representation of what's possible. And girl, I found out on the low they was fucking and they got pregnant. And I was like, this whole time, y'all had
Yeah.
me thinking that this is what y'all had me thinking this was like and I know it's possible, right? But this is in my teenage brain. I was just like, I felt so betrayed. I was like, well, who else out here lying? Because I thought this was what we was
Right.
doing. I thought we was saving ourselves, and and so as a teenager, I just remember having that process where I was like, I couldn't believe it. I felt like I was just betrayed. So yeah, that was an instance when I was younger of.
Yeah, no, but that makes sense.
Hmm.
And some
Yeah.
things similar to that happen to folks all the time because yeah,
Yeah.
because I think about, we mentioned romantic relationships and celebrities specifically, but if you think about your political leaders,
Yeah.
you think about church leaders, there are lots of people in our lives that we put on a pedestal or may hold to unrealistic perfectionist expectations,
Yeah,
and they're
for
bound to
sure.
disappoint.
Exactly, because we're all human, you know? But I think you can be inspired by someone, like you said, and you can support someone, but it's just this internal conversation of ourselves, like just monitoring how far we're going with it from an emotional perspective so that
Yes.
if something does happen, we're not like devastated and distraught because this person did this thing, right? Okay, so now we're going to talk about the difference between reputation and character, right?
Yeah.
So, reputation is what people believe about you, right? It's what they think about you,
Mm-hmm.
whereas your character is who you consistently are. It's like who you are for real. And eventually
Right.
those two things they do collide in most cases. Like you were saying earlier, Don, the reputation will get you in the door because it's like, oh, okay, you have these credentials, you this is what you got going on. And then character is like, how are you acting once you get in the door, right? How are you
Yes.
treating people?
Mm-hmm.
Can you back up what you said you had? Like, you know what I mean? Like all those things.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. And I think the thing too to remember is that oftentimes your character shapes your reputation. So if you are the person who everyone knows as, oh, she's sweet as pie, right?
Mm.
I don't know why I felt so
That's so
southern just
cute and
now saying
southern. I
that,
was say that's so cute and
right?
southern. I see you,
So
girl. I see you.
she, but if that's your reputation, right?
Yeah.
Or that's the reputation that people have of you.
Hmm.
So then what does that say about your character? More than likely, what that's saying about your character is that you are probably the super nice person. Deep down, you're probably might be a people pleaser, and you might say yes to most people, right? That you are that person who's going to jump in and give, and you almost always have a smile on your face. Your general disposition is sweet. People like being around you. Most people like being around you, right? And so then your reputation is, yeah, she's sweet as pie. That's not a bad thing,
Hmm.
right? But then what happens if you shift
Mm.
and you have one moment where someone catches you on a bad day and you're completely stressed out, you're at your wits end about something most people are not aware of because it's a private battle that you're navigating, but you encounter someone in public and they know your reputation as being sweet as pie, and you snap, like you say something that's kind of rude, and now they go around and they're telling everyone, oh, she's not sweet as pie, I don't know where y'all got that from, she's actually a rude bitch.
Damn.
From that one experience, right?
That's how it be.
And so that's the difference between reputation and character. That you had one bad day, but consistently you are a nice person.
Hmm.
You had one bad day and now your reputation has been changed.
Yeah. It's unfortunate too because it's like I know we tell people, "Oh, don't care about what people think," and blah blah blah. But it's like in this world, when it comes to your reputation, it really is perception, right? And perception is
Right.
reality. And so we could say all day, like, "Oh, we don't want to care what people think." Maybe it's like caring what the right people think, because to some degree, like we do need to be mindful of what people think. Like my mom used to always tell me when I was younger, like, what was it? Don't shit where you sleep. Like if you're gonna be talking to somebody, like don't be talking to nobody at work or in the area because
Mm-hmm.
your reputation is everything. Your reputation is everything. And your reputation, it can, and in most cases, should be curated, right? But when we're thinking about other people, it's like, what does that mean? Branding can be intentional, right? Like
Right.
social media lets us present this highlight reel and this polished version, and then we may
Mm-hmm.
not know someone's real character because of what they're presenting to us. So you can have beautiful branding, but still lack emotional maturity or be a mean ass individual. You know what I mean? And so your character, like you
Yes.
said, Dom, is like how you show up consistently. And it's the pattern. And I think that I don't know about you, Dom, but I like to let people know, like if I sense that somebody's putting me up on this pedestal and they have these expectations, I
Hmm.
hop right the fuck off. I like, nope. Cause
Take
listen,
me off.
I was
Hmm.
depressed last week, okay? I was struggling. Like, don't put me on no shit. Mm-mm.
Right.
I'll be trying to let it be known, like, look, I'm this, I'm ratchet, what do we say? I'm bougie, I'm classy, and I'm
Yes,
ratchet.
and
I'm
I'm
all these
ratchet and
things.
all the
So
things,
don't try to put me in
multidimensional. Hmm.
multidimensional. Don't try to put, people in a box because we are multifaceted, right? So I think that's something to keep in mind as well.
Yes. And I think too, particularly in this age of social media,
Hmm.
your private self will eventually be made public in some way, right?
Hmm.
Now, we know, and most people who know me know that I don't post a whole lot on social media. That's not my area, right?
Hmm.
But if you know me, you know me. And so there are people who post daily, and they are content creators that are definitely branding, right? They
Hmm.
have a brand, and part of their image is to be a certain thing.
Yeah.
And so with that, hopefully for them, who you see on social media is also pretty similar to who they are in public, right? And again, not necessarily about the content that they're putting out there, but how they engage and how they carry themselves,
Yeah.
their character, right?
Hmm.
It is pretty hard, I would assume, to be consistently funny and witty on social media and not at least have a little bit of that in real life. When I think about people who also portray themselves, who say that they are experts in certain things, right?
Hmm.
Whether we're talking about a legal expert, a finance expert, religious expert, whatever the thing is, right? If that's what you're putting out there for the public to see, like you have websites, you have social media, all the things, my expectation as the consumer is that this represents who you are across the board. That if you say that you are a spiritual expert, my expectation is that off camera, behind the scenes, your character is one in which most people would be able to engage with you, and you are kind and respectful and polite, because those are the things that I kind of expect from a spiritual expert,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
If you are a fitness expert, I expect that generally off camera, you are living your life and engaging with folks in a way that prioritizes physical health and well-being.
Hmm. Yeah.
That because that's your reputation, and also that goes into, hopefully, your character is aligning with that reputation, right? That fitness is you, that is your thing, and you are good at it, right? And so for me, it's what that also looks like is, as the spiritual expert or the fitness expert, that how you engage with people is not going to always be about what you can gain from them, right? So, as the fitness expert, you may be sitting in a space with people and you're talking about health, physical health and wellness because that's your thing. But you're not always trying to push your product or sell folks something, because that's what you do online. That's not how you are in outside of online, right? Does that make sense what I'm saying?
I It's funny because I was about to go into like the business perspective and like why our reputation is so important. And part of me is thinking about, and I might let me know if I'm misunderstanding. Part of me is like, as a business, if you are a fitness person and you have a business, it's like always be selling, right? But you don't necessarily have to do it in an icky way, but it's like presenting people with an opportunity to, like, if you are a trustworthy person, you've created product that you know helps people, and you're with people who want that end result, it's like, yeah, let me give you more opportunities to be able to tap into this, if that makes sense.
Yes. So for me,
Yeah.
what, yeah. So what it is that you're not, that's not what you lead with, right? Like,
Hmm.
here, like you're
Here,
out with
buy my stuff, buy
friends,
my
buy
stuff, buy
my
my stuff.
stuff, right? It's
Yeah.
you're out and about living life day to day. People
Hmm.
see that you are living a health, prioritizing your physical health, right?
Yeah.
And now it's, oh, they actually are living by what they're selling online. Maybe I can trust
Hmm.
them in this and I can buy this product.
Yeah. That's important.
And they're not doing it in a way that feels like I'm pressured to have to engage with them solely for the
Yeah.
purpose of them selling something.
Exactly. That makes sense. And I think also when it comes to, why we're having this conversation and why reputation is so important, it's like in the business world, even in our personal relationships, it matters, like in our networking, it
Yes.
matters. And I think about three instances where over the years on social media, I saw a product that I liked. There's this one company I bought from recently. This happened in all three instances. This company, they have some amazing content. And I love the content on social media. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to learn how to create content like this. And so they had a sale and they had this branding workbook. And so I bought it. And do you know that I downloaded that workbook? And I think it was like maybe eight. Was it 80? It was like somewhere between 50 and $80, which is like, I mean, to some people it might be changed, but I'm like, I'm not just out spending that money on anything online. Like, I
Right.
believe in the product because of the reputation, what I think about them based on what they posted. And I'm like, oh, I trust it. I would assume that they have some good content in here because of what they post. Girl, do you know I downloaded this guy and it was literally like 200 AI things. It was so basic. I was just like, it looks like they just use ChatGPT or AI to just
No.
create this and it wasn't very well thought out. I didn't feel like it empowered me. I'm like, I could have put this into AI and got this. So for me, when it comes to character, like what I experienced with them, I'm probably not going to buy from them again until
Right.
maybe I know someone like you or someone that I trust who's like, I bought this and it helped me because of this, this, and this. I may not buy from them again
Yes.
because I didn't have a good experience. And I don't think that their reputation, it equated to the character. I don't know if character is the right word in this context, but like into the experience of the product
Yeah.
that they were selling. And that's happened a couple
Hmm.
of times online where I bought from people and that's happened. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm not buying from them again because
Right.
Dom, did I tell you about the time that I got this? I saw this lady, she posted something and she's like, oh, I'm gonna teach you, I think it was like how to make money on TikTok or how to make 10K a month on TikTok or something like that. And girl, I was like 2 to 5 minutes into her session because I bought the session. I signed up. I'm like, okay, I'm about to learn. I signed up, girl. 5 minutes within, 5 minutes into the session, she's like, yeah, so I haven't actually made the 10K yet. I'm manifesting it. I'm like, bitch, I know you did not. Don't
Oh,
don't sell me some shit that you're trying to
no.
manifest. I want to buy from the person who's done it. And she was presenting as though
Yes.
she had done this already. So I'm like, don't sell me some shit. We both in the same boat. We both trying to figure it out. You about to tell me what you think we should do? No. So
No.
I would never buy from her privately, right? Because
Right.
what are we doing?
Because so to me, then what that then leads to
Mm-hmm.
is people leaving reviews and comments and saying this wasn't worth it.
Yeah.
And now her reputation is she's not to be trusted,
Mm-hmm.
right? That, you know, you can't, yeah, not to trust her, not to buy from her again. And that becomes the reputation, even if that's not necessarily her character, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because her character might not be to be shady,
Mm-hmm.
because she may have truly believed that by selling this product, that's how she's manifesting the income that she's trying to get, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh my
so
God.
that she's trying to teach everyone else to have. And so there might not have been, her character might not be one of malicious intent,
Mm-hmm.
but her reputation is about to be attached to as someone who has malicious intent.
Yeah.
It becomes a very, very tricky thing when
Yeah.
we really are looking at how we are managing our reputations in an age of social media, right? The
Mm-hmm.
other thing with that also is noting that with the boom of AI, right,
Mm-hmm.
that our reputations, at least to me, matter now more than ever because it is so, and our reputations and our character. It's important that we are consistent in who we are so that our reputations remain intact, remain good reputations. Because in this age of AI, it makes it so easy for people to manufacture words that we didn't say,
Mm-hmm.
create videos and all kinds of content in our likeness,
Yeah.
and people might believe it.
Yeah.
We've seen multiple examples of this happening to politicians, right? Where there's a video that comes out of them saying something that they never said, that doesn't
Mm-hmm.
even align with what they believe or what they publicly say they believe.
Yeah.
And so now their reputation has shifted because of this video, because of the video or whatever it was that was put out there that's actually not true.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. And I mean, obviously, we can't control what people think 100% of the time, but it's like if you are consistent in who you are, there will be times where something might come up, somebody creates a deep fake, and okay, look, let me give you an example. If you ever see, lady, somebody post some shit, okay, and it's Diamond T talking about some yeah, won't like black women. Girl, throw that shit away. Like you know that's not the case.
Right.
It's like when you look at the body of work, the our lives work and what we're doing in the world, that totally conflicts with who we've shown you to for us to be, right? And so that also goes back to like why integrity matters. Like who are you behind
Yes.
closed doors? Who are you when no one's around? And we're not having this conversation from a place of perfection, right? Because
Mhm.
we done made mistakes then told some, a lie before, then had to work on my
Everybody
own
has.
character, right?
Yeah.
Like that is, yeah, that's the truth. But in this world driven by AI, right? Branding, speed, things going viral, perception, integrity matters more now than it has before, truly.
Yes. Yes, it does. And when you have integrity,
Mm-hmm.
that allows people to feel emotionally, professionally, just energetically safe,
Yeah.
right? Having integrity is that thing that builds trust with people over time. You
Yeah.
cannot trust someone that you just met. Like, I don't care what anybody says. I met you yesterday. I don't know you from a can of paint. I cannot trust you because I don't know you over time. Now, it may be that in that first meeting, energetically, you give off vibes of someone who can be trusted because you have integrity, you're a person of good character, and you embody that in how you engage with the people around you. But again, I just met you. I don't know that for sure.
Hmm.
I can listen to my body and try and pay attention to how my body responds when I'm around you, but it takes time. And so, but if you are carrying yourself with integrity, it won't take as much time for trust to be built
Yeah.
because your words and your actions will create that safety for the people you're engaging with.
Amen to that. Amen to that. And I think also integrity, it protects us. Like it can, create
Mm-hmm.
peace. And what else was I gonna say? Oh, when we have those moments where we meet someone and we have a short amount of time to kind of decipher how we feel about them, we can kind of base, like you were saying, like listening to our bodies. I was gonna say something else too, and it escapes me, but I don't know. Anything else on integrity, Dom? 'Cause I know we also want to dive into, we're gonna do the part two after
Yes.
this. But yeah, anything else we should, did we cover everything?
Yeah, I think, one thing that I would like to note is
What?
that integrity is about you and the other person, right? Or protecting you and the other person, right? That when you carry yourself with integrity, then that allows you to feel peace internally,
Mm-hmm.
but then that allows the people around you to have peace and feel safe.
Yeah.
And hopefully, what it does is it will ward off the people who aren't carrying themselves in that way, right? They're not going to
Mm-hmm.
stick around long because
Yeah.
you were carrying yourself in a way that won't allow for that to continue because it's going to be
Mm-hmm.
disruptive.
Yeah. That makes sense. And you know what? I'm thinking about how when we see people on social media, where many of us, I know not everyone is, but many of us are on social media, we're seeing people and we have these parasocial relationships. When we're able to discern where someone's coming from and just who they really are, it can, like we talked about protection, it can protect us because someone may be trustworthy or they may appear to be trustworthy and their reputation seems positive. We don't know their character, but then they start spewing some type of harmful rhetoric where we're like, oh, wait, for some people, we talked about cults on a recent episode. It's like
Mm-hmm.
they're so charismatic and confident. They look good too. Oh my goodness. And they smell good. Like, you know what I mean? People look good and smell good. People just go crazy over that. And it's like, okay, now that I have some tools and I'm looking at this person from a more strategic lens, like a realistic standpoint, it will impact how far I'm willing to go and like make me question certain things. So I think that's where this stuff gets really dangerous when it comes to reputation and character.
Yeah.
If it's harmless, I mean, if somebody, I mean, it's still important, right, to care about it. But if somebody wrote an ebook and I don't know, if it's harmless, it's like, okay. But like when they start getting into a dangerous territory and like trying to get
Yeah.
people to go down a certain path, that's when we really want to employ some of these tools and like really check in with ourselves. And
Like
so,
self-help and things along those lines. That's what I think about
yes,
when, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, self-help. Um, I don't know, get people into certain drugs or whatever it might be. It's just like,
Yeah.
wait, something don't feel right, right? And just because we had this parasocial connection, I thought I trusted you. I don't know. I'm not feeling right. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
all.
Lady, stay tuned to part two, where we talk about what are the things that help you build trust within yourself, like learn to be a trustworthy person yourself, and then be able to identify what the characteristics are of people who are trustworthy around you.
All right. And lady, oh yes, we're on YouTube now. So head on over to our YouTube channel. I believe it's Her Space Podcast. Yeah, Her Space Podcast on YouTube. Check us out so you can see the video and comment if you appreciate the video. Also, please, if you're enjoying the podcast, send us some love on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, because we don't really have a lot of, reviews over there. So give us some reviews. We love your feedback, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place.